Hello and welcome to this special edition of Cameo. We're at the 54th BFI London Film Festival. I'm Tori.
And I'm Fergal, and here's what's coming up on the rest of the show.
So there's some good stuff coming out there.
There certainly is. But now let's have a look at Frida Pinto's new film, Morale.
Based on the autobiographical novel by Rula Jibril and directed by Julian Schnabel, Morale follows the story of a young Palestinian girl growing up amidst the turbulent Israeli-Palestinian conflict. The film opens with Hind Hussein, an inspirational woman who believes that education is the only route to peace, and so she founds a school and orphanage for young Palestinian girls. Morale, played by Slumdog Millionaire actress Frida Pinto, joins the school, but after 11 years, the First Intifada, the movement against the oppression of Palestinians, starts to gather support, and she begins to question Hind's non-violent beliefs.
I have seen this before. Our family was destroyed by this.
Morale has an incredibly realistic feel to it, with a brutal honesty that really highlights the emotions underlying the conflict. The use of colour and other filming effects also help to draw the viewer into the drama on screen. Shot in a handycam style, Morale has a very natural, immersive feel. However, at times, the unsteady filming does distract slightly from the plot. With solid performances throughout, Morale certainly captures the humanity and emotions of the people attempting to live their day-to-day lives under constant presence of violence and bloodshed. Even if you are not well informed on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, this film is a great introduction and still powerful and emotive to watch. We give Morale 3.5 stars out of 5.
Morale there, our first film of the festival.
And now we're off to the Mayfair Hotel to go and interview some directors.
I'm here with Caroline Cameo, director of the film Imani. Caroline, would you like to give us a brief overview of your film and what it's about?
Sure, it's a snapshot of life in Uganda, contemporary Uganda right now, through the eyes of 3 characters in one day. They're characters I've always been interested in. And I thought they really represented a diverse look at Uganda. For example, if you're doing something in London, you had a cabbie, you have a Wall Street person, etc. It shows different lifestyles. So it's really important for me. And I was always intrigued by what does a maid think about the person who lives in the house? How does a child soldier reconnect with their family when they've been away?
And Imani literally translates from the Swahili meaning faith.
Well, my sister and I sat down and brainstormed the title because we wanted one word that was very significant, that was easy to pronounce anywhere in the world, and something that really resonated. And I really felt these characters go through a lot of challenges, and they really needed faith. So Imani is such a beautiful sounding word as well. It just worked.
Well, Caroline, thank you very much for joining Cameo today.
I'm here with Brian Welsh talking about his film In Our Name. Brian, could you tell us a little bit about your film, please?
It's a film about a British female soldier coming back from war in the Middle East. She's coming back to the northeast of England. She wants to settle back into life with her husband and her partner, but she's seen some horrific things when she was at war. She becomes hyper-vigilant and becomes more and more dangerous as the film progresses until she puts her own daughter in real danger.
And what was it that drew you to do a film on this subject?
It was a kind of melting pot of things. I mean, I kind of had the experience. I'd met someone who'd suffered a traumatic experience in their life, and I'd witnessed them go through some kind of PTSD, post-traumatic stress symptoms.
We need to protect her, Mark.
From what? I don't know what happened to you out there, but you've been acting weird from the moment you got back.
Any recurring nightmares?
Get off me! Get off me!
Women were engaged in frontline combat for the first time, and with children being such a sort of predominant feature of combat stress, what effect would that have on a mother? I thought this was a unique angle because we haven't really seen women having the same emotional scars that men have.
Brian, thank you so much. I really hope your film raises support. So, some good interviews there with the directors and a nice cup of tea.
I've got a confession to make. I might have eaten 2 scones.
Didn't you have 3?
Moving on, let's have a look at Black Swan.
Black Swan is a psychological thriller from Darren Aronofsky, the director of The Wrestler. Set in the world of the New York City Ballet, the film focuses on Nina, played by Natalie Portman, as she struggles to cope with playing the Swan Queen, the lead role in Swan Lake. The role encompasses both the innocent white swan and the sensual and deceptive black swan, and as the film progresses, we see Nina struggle to embrace her darker side. With pressure from her controlling ex-ballerina mother, as well as from impressive new dancer Lily, played by Mila Kunis, who Portman's character is convinced wishes to steal her role, Nina's state of mind begins to deteriorate as her paranoia grows. Her grip on reality is also slackened by the company's artistic director, played by Vincent Cassel, who uses his sexuality to push Nina into delivering the perfect performance. This is something which she is already obsessed with achieving.
I want to see passion! Seduce it! Come on! Attack it! Attack it!
The use of special effects in Black Swan helps create a feeling of discomfort for the audience and so enhances the viewing experience. Tchaikovsky's famous score is well integrated with original music for the film and is particularly well used at the film's climax with the opening night's performance. With a brilliant supporting cast and a captivating central performance by Natalie Portman, Black Swan is an original film. However, its complete focus on the world of ballet and the use of jarringly disturbing scenes may alienate some viewers. We give it 3 stars out of 5.
Usually when you make a movie, doors open up. You say, I want to make a movie, and everyone's like, okay. And the ballet world just really couldn't care. And slowly but surely we met a few dancers that were interested in sharing their stories. And we did a lot of research, and eventually choreographer Benjamin Millepied came on, and that sort of gave us a stamp of approval.
The way a ballerina holds herself is very specific, and you can only fake that so much. Just transforming your body at the age of 26. I wouldn't say I was alone in this. I think everybody across the board in this production, if they played a dancer, somehow, somewhere got hurt. The way that they just hold their arms and their shoulders are always tucked back and the rib cage is always tucked in and a little bit out, I think definitely helped the character.
I had the opportunity to see Baryshnikov work, and so it's a mix of all those guys, and then all the documentaries I've seen about Balanchine and all those people. They have something in common. They move like they were owning the world, really.
It's really fantastic to work with. I mean, I think that I would say I was lucky that I got to work with a friend of mine, but she's a brilliant actress and she's amazing to watch.
I have to say that I was so impressed by the way she got involved that I didn't want to interfere with her, so I would let her do what she had to do, because she was going back to warm up between more or less every takes.
Now on to my personal highlight of the film festival, Colin Firth in The King's Speech. An uplifting historical drama, The King's Speech is the latest film from Tom Hooper, director of The Damned United, starring a whole host of big names including Colin Firth, Helena Bonham Carter and Geoffrey Rush. The film focuses on the second son of King George V, Prince Albert, father of Queen Elizabeth II, played by Colin Firth. Albert, known as Bertie to his family, struggles with a nervous stammer, making public speaking nigh on impossible. After trying various physicians and techniques to help, he eventually gives up hope. That is, until he is introduced to the eccentric Australian speech therapist, Lionel Logue, played brilliantly by Geoffrey Rush. With his unconventional methods and lack of regard for royal protocol, he's finally able to help Bertie begin to deal with his impediments. However, the need for improvement becomes even more pressing when Bertie's older brother Edward abdicates in 1936 to marry Wallis Simpson, leaving him to succeed as king whilst the country slips into war. The on-screen relationship between Colin Firth and Geoffrey Rush is beautiful to watch, with the true sadness of the story further emphasised by moments of unexpected comedy.
What was your earliest memory?
I'm not here to discuss personal matters.
Well, why are you here then?
Because I bloody well stammer!
Do you know any jokes?
Timing isn't my strong suit.
There is never a dull moment, and as the credits roll, you will find yourself wanting to learn more about this period of history and the people involved. A thoroughly engaging film in which you really empathise with the characters, we give The King's Speech 4.5 stars out of 5.
I wanted to be hugely careful about the accuracy. Lionel only started writing the diary when he became king. In other words, when the king was playing old Duke of York, I don't think Lionel realised that this was particularly noteworthy. So things like the swearing technique, which I'm often asked, would that have happened? We don't know whether that would happen.
He goes from being almost a complete relapse when he's confronting his brother to this bizarre, what seems to be a kind of catharsis. You can't really get that arc without that piece. Had I had my script version of it, it would have been worse. There was a moment when the producers just came running in to the room saying, no. Yeah, you can say that, and not that. You cannot finish it with that word.
Most people living with disabilities, it's not about a cure, it's about working with it. We wanted to avoid any kind of Hollywood climax where suddenly he was completely liberated and was Laurence Olivier.
Good storytelling is never about trying to provide answers to things, really. I think it's about being honest about issues and problems and the way people seek to navigate them.
She was great at being gracious. She sort of always had that sort of cloud of charming vagueness, but I think underneath it, having read about it, she had a huge amount of inner strength. Cecil Beaton said that she was a marshmallow, I think, but made by a welding machine.
A lot, and I've done it a lot in my life because it's the third time I've played somebody with a stammer. And if you look at footage of him making a speech, it's the last thing I said, but there's a kind of little narrative to what I think he's going through. When you watch that, you find out about him. To me, there's something quite heroic there. There's an entire epic going on in those few seconds.
So what could possibly top off the London Film Festival? Perhaps Pakistan in the 1970s via Salford?
The sequel to the hit film East is East, West is West is set 8 years on, again following the story of the mixed-race Khan family living in Salford, England in the 1970s. In the film, the youngest member of the Khan family, Sajid, an outstanding performance by newcomer Aqib Khan, is starting to act up and being bullied at school. Traditionalist Pakistani father George Khan, played by Puri, decides that taking Sajid on a trip to Pakistan to stay with George's first wife and daughters will sort him out. However, after 30 years, life in Pakistan is not as easy as George remembers, and things become even more complicated when George's English wife, Ella, played by Linda Bassett, turns up to retrieve her husband and son. A thoroughly enjoyable film, West is West easily switches between moments of humour and sadness, and you leave the cinema feeling uplifted by the character's journey of discovery.
Yours? All mine. Okay. Check, 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 check.
Yeah, that's funny.
Although technically a sequel to East is East, West is West is a film that deserves to be considered on its own merits, with no prior knowledge of the story required to enjoy every moment of the film. We give it 4 stars out of 5.
After a period of time from East is East, going into West is West, how was that?
We did the stage play before we did East is East. So Linda and I and the rest of the family go back 14 years. So we'd had plenty of time to establish the relationship.
And there is a heavy sort of autobiographical element to the film.
Both with East is East and West is West, they are autobiographical. Less so in West is West because initially it starts off with my experiences of going to Pakistan. Later on, after East is East, and when I decided that I wanted to write the sequel, I thought for me it was really important to understand George's first wife.
And how was it working on set? You were in India for quite a time.
No, I was in India for about 6-7 weeks. It was great. People were very friendly. I could speak the language, so I was loving every second of it.
It was just gorgeous being there. You know, it's a fantastic country. I'd never been before. I'm a sort of actor that gets sent to Huddersfield usually. I don't usually get sent to glamorous places.
Thank you for watching this special episode of Cameo from the 54th BFI London Film Festival.
We hope you enjoyed the show.